Good morning. So we've got our three stories for the third week of January of 2020. The first one is really all about climate change and what's happening on the planet, right? So we've got Larry Fink, CEO of BlackRock. BlackRock manages $6 trillion of assets. He came out with a letter last week that basically said, quote, climate change has become a defining factor in companies' long-term prospects. And he went on to say, quote, awareness is rapidly changing, and I believe we are on the edge of a fundamental reshaping of finance, and he emphasized that. He also said the evidence on climate risk is compelling investors to reassess core assumptions about modern finance. Then he commented, indeed, it's the thing that most of our clients are asking us around the world about, and finally, he stated, quote, in the near future, and sooner than most anticipate, there will be a significant reallocation of capital. He may be right. We're already seeing a lot of the insurance companies stop insuring coal companies. We're seeing banks flee from the sector. Morgan Stanley indicates this transformation to address climate change over the next 30 years will be a $50 trillion effort. So I wonder where that money is going to come from. We may well see a fundamental shift from the hydrocarbon sector into renewables simply because over time the reality of the world mandates that. Now let's shift over to Connecticut, what I call Connexit, which is the energy and environmental officials in Connecticut last week saying that they may withdraw from New England grid operator ISO and distance themselves from previously pro-natural gas policies. So Katie Dykes, who's commissioner of Governor Ned Lamont's energy and environmental policy, commented on a, quote, lack of leadership at the ISO with respect to fossil fuel use, pushing policies for investments in gas pipelines and generating plants that Connecticut, quote, doesn't want and doesn't need. This stance is similar to some of the states like New Jersey and Illinois that have been pushing back and threatening to withdraw from PJM because of its recent minimum offer pricing rules for capacity markets. The Economics 101 of this suggests that if these markets don't start incorporating externalities, and particularly the price of carbon, into their markets, while the states, in the meantime, are pushing all these subsidies, something's got to give. So I think we're going to see a lot more stress in this area and maybe more markets coming into this like New York where they're eyeing carbon pricing and saying that may be the most efficient way to get this goal of reducing carbon achieved. New York's lucky because the ISO and the state are contiguous, same way with California and CalISO, Texas and ERCOT. They may be able to do it faster than some of these other markets because they don't have to coordinate across multiple states. And speaking of state programs, we just saw New Jersey last week announcing a target of 2 million electric vehicles by 2035, a $300 million pot of incentives with $5,000 on the hood, basically $25 per mile of range for every EV that somebody purchases. It's a pretty aggressive program for the U.S., but if we look at China, this is peanuts. The China Electric Vehicle Charging Infrastructure Promotion Association, they'll say that twice, indicates its members have 496,000 public EV charging stations, and last year they installed 1,000 per day. So, put that in your pipe and smoke it. That's what aggressive looks like. And then finally, New York, the Empire State just approved $2 billion over the next 5 years for energy efficiency programs, ranging from LED light bulbs, high-efficiency appliances, and heat pumps. The money will come from a surcharge on everybody's electric bill, but efficiency is way more cost-effective than any other investment you can make. Renewable solar doesn't matter. It's way more cost-effective. So it should make the state more economically better off. The question is going to be, who pays for it, how the money is reallocated, and how efficiently the utilities implement these programs. That's going to be the way that we make the biggest bang for the buck. So just to recap, international finance going to continue to move away from carbon, and then we're going to see more and more state levels, just like we've seen here, and we're going to see tension between wholesale markets and state goals. Nothing new there. Talk to you next week. Thanks.